Hey, it is Andy from FensePost, and today we're going to take a look at this 7-inch single by a band called Acid from 1993. Here's how I'm going to approach this video. One, I'm going to talk very briefly about the band itself. I'm going to talk about how I discovered who this band is. Basically, I'm going to run down how I buy albums on Discogs. And finally, I'll do a quick unboxing on this very kind of rare 7-inch single. So in other words, this is the story on how my method of buying albums on Discogs led me to discover a little-known side project of the Brian Jonestown Massacre. So, first off, here's how I shop on Discogs. Step 1. Find something you want at the price you're willing to pay. I mean, this is an obvious one, right? You don't want to overpay for stuff. So finding an item on Discogs that you want at a price you're willing to pay is always going to be the first step. I always start by checking other places. I'll look at eBay, I'll look at Amazon, I'll see what else this item is going for, if it's going anywhere else at all. Step 2. See if the seller has any other items in my want list. So if I found it at a price I want, I'm going to add it to my cart. I already know who the seller is. I'm going to visit that seller's page. I'm going to look and see if there is anything else that that seller has on my want list that is also a reasonable price. Step 3. Now, Discogs, in the right-hand corner below the seller's banner, on the page that they have all the items for sale, is a search bar. Using that search bar, using band keywords or genre keywords or label keywords, that will help narrow down the seller's list of items available to just ones that fit that keyword. Now, it might be a little convoluted if you search something like garage or indie, but it will help narrow it down greatly, especially if they have several thousand items in their cart. Why do I do this? One, it helps on shipping costs. If I buy an album for $20 and I pay $5 of shipping, well, that's 25% of the cost that I'm paying for the record. Plus, you got to add on tax and all that other kinds of stuff. So if I add a second item, most sellers will do combo shipping. So if you pay $5 for shipping, you add one additional item, it's $1 additional. So now I've cut the price per item from $5 down to $3. And the more items I add, the more I cut down that price. Yes, in many cases, the shipping price will continue to go up until I hit the threshold that some sellers use for free shipping. How did that lead me to this? I use the term psychedelic rock in the search, and I came up with this band, Acid. This was in a 90s psychedelic and shoegaze binge that I was going on a few years ago, and I came across this one, and it intrigued me, so I looked it up, and boy was I surprised. Acid is actually listed as an alias for Brian Jonestown Massacre. They had one single, this one right here. It came out in 1993. That's before the first Brian Jonestown full-length album. Now, Brian Jonestown Massacre formed in about 1990. Their first album, Methadone, didn't come out until 1995, but they did release a handful of singles. The first single, She Made Me, came out in 1992. This came out in 1993. The only other single that they released in 93 was one called Convertible. So already, this is early Brian Jonestown Massacre. How does it stack up? Well, let's take a quick look inside and see what all this comes with. First off, I love the album art. It's really cool. It's on a nice little standard 7-inch sleeve. You've got cover art, and on the back, 2 songs, Never Ever and Thoughts of You. Down here you can see it's a split release between Bomp Records and Tangible Records, and you also have a little label over here that says artwork, etc. by Travis. So someone named Travis designed the artwork, which personally I love. Here is the 7-inch for Never Ever and Thoughts of You by the band Acid. You can see the label has a massive call out for Bomp Records. My guess is they footed most of the bill for this. You've got a small one over here for Tangible in black and white, and that's it. This one plays at 33 1/3 RPM, and there's the other side. Now, this is something I don't do in videos. I'm only doing this because, well, it's just so rare. Now, Brian Jonestown Massacre is Anton Newcombe, and Acid, of course, is as well. Both are super hazy blend of psychedelic rock, shoegaze, space rock, acid rock. Early Newcombe was really shoegazy. Acid kind of was a little bit of a departure for that, and ultimately the sound that you find on Acid is a lot more like what would soon follow with the psychedelic rock, incorporating styles of garage, even folk rock, and deep psychedelic desert rock, etc. All those kind of jumbled, post-apocalyptic sounding, drenched in reverb and haziness and all that kind of stuff. That's exactly what you find here. So, are you a fan of Brian Jonestown Massacre? Now, Brian Jonestown Massacre had a new album out this year, 2022, called Fire Doesn't Grow on Trees. Down in the description, you will find a link over to my review of this single by Acid that talks a little bit about Don't Get Lost from 2017 because, well, that's when the blog post was written. Head over there, you can hear the full songs by Acid, as well as a handful off of Don't Get Lost, and more. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, new videos will come out every few days. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.